Hey, I think it's
So
better if you put your phone like
this
sideways.
way.
Yes. So that we are the same then when I edit,
Okay.
again. Yeah.
Does that
Yes.
this work?
I have to think about everything. This is no game. This is something professional.
It's serious. You're right. I got to get it together.
You keep forgetting. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's really nice to have you again.
It's great to see you. How were the holidays? How's everything been?
Pretty good. Pretty good. We enjoyed our Christmas together. Our favorite part, opening the presents, you know.
Of course. Good
Of
time.
course, couldn't be any other way. Um, and then well, New Year. Also, we had dinner here at home. And then right after that, on the second or the third of June, I went to see my parents in my hometown. And I went there with my daughter, Daphne, and we spent there a few days, kind of like a week. Yes, we came back 2 days ago. Yes.
All right.
So it's
Nice
been pretty
little vacation.
relaxing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yes.
really cool.
It's gonna be hard to go back to work on Monday, starting
Oh,
again. But
get back into the grind.
uh-huh. But still it's like it's nice because sometimes I get bored if you know if I don't have anything to do. I've been trying to keep myself busy, like editing videos or uploading things, creating new presentations. But at the same time, I've been trying to disconnect,
Yeah.
give myself a little break,
You
and
you have to. You have to find some me time.
exactly. And technically, I hadn't taken a break in probably 4 years or something, you know.
Really.
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
So it was really needed. I really had to, stop a little bit, take a break, disconnect as much as possible.
I mean, you're always. I mean, as long as I've known you, you're constantly just doing things and helping people. So it doesn't surprise me. I'm glad that you've taken a break, but it doesn't surprise me that it's taken this long.
Yeah, I get bored. It's not like I don't think I consider myself like very active, at least not in the traditional way. When you
Right.
think about an active person, it's like playing
Right.
sports, running, and things like that. I'm usually home, you know, but active, like mentally active,
Hmm.
like creating things and things like that, and I enjoy it, you know. So I understand that taking a break was kind of necessary, but at the same time, I get bored, So it's like
Yeah.
even subconsciously, I keep on looking for things to do, you know. So well, here I am. S-
Love that.
Still, this could be considered part of the break because officially I'm going back to work with my classes, my students, and everything on Monday.
Mhm.
So, and I was still thinking, okay, maybe this is a good opportunity to have another interview. And in this case, it's a very interesting comeback.
I mean, I'm just glad to be here. So, however I can be part of it is great.
And I appreciate it, honestly. So, how
Yeah.
have you been? What's new? A bigger family?
Um, they're great. I have a lot of new babies in the family. So, um, my twin brother Hayden and his wife just had their second, a little girl
Already the
named
second,
Juliet. Hmm.
your
Well,
twin
I mean,
brother.
I don't know. Have you seen? I'm trying to remember when. I mean, they have a son that is how old is he now? He's going to be turning. 3 this,
Uh-huh.
or he just turned 3.
Okay.
Um, and so their little girl, she was born, was it November, end of October or November? So
Uh-huh.
she's still pretty little, and they
Pretty
live
little.
in Utah, so we're still here in Arizona, and so they're far. I
Uh-huh.
haven't actually got to meet her in person yet. Um,
Oh, wow.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully we can find a way to get up there and just get away for a little bit and go visit.
So they are in Utah and
Hmm.
you are where you live in Arizona,
Hmm.
right? So how far is that?
I used to know off the top of my head miles. Um, like I'd have to look it up really quick, but it's all I know is it's like a 11-hour drive
Okay,
by
well that
car.
works. An
So,
11-hour drive.
something like that. Yeah. So it's a pretty good ways. Um,
I'm trying to make a comparison. It's like going
I know.
from Buenos Aires.
This is on the spot. I'm like, oh, some people are good at whipping out these. It's this however many hundreds of miles.
No,
It
I'm
would
not good.
be like going.
I'm
Let's
not good
see.
at that either. So,
Oh, good. Good. I feel better then.
that's yeah.
I let's see. I'm trying to remember like when I lived in San Pedro and we would go to where was the offices like San Isidro or
San
San
Isidro, yes.
um
It would take
how
what,
long,
like 2, 3 hours?
something like that by bus. It was
Oh,
a
by
pretty
bus
good look.
sometimes it takes longer because you have to wait
Yeah.
and it stops. So, yeah, but by car it could
Yeah,
take
like a
two,
couple
three hours.
hours.
Yes.
Um so beyond that, and I'm like, that's about as much of the distance in at least in Argentina that I've traveled. So I don't have an accurate of like what would that look like? Maybe
You're
going up to
right. It's like going from here to
how
another
far
province.
from where you are, how long would it take to get to where shoot, what was right above us? Like
Entre
I mean,
Rios, Santa Fe. What were
I
you
think I
thinking?
was thinking of Entre
Well,
Rios, or
Santa Fe, Córdoba. Those are the ones
that's
we
been
have
Entre
around.
Rios. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like how far would that be? If you
I'm
were to
trying to
go to
remember.
Entre
We drove to Córdoba some time ago. I'm trying to remember if it seemed like it
that
took
feels like a long way, like a
like
pretty long trip.
7 hours, 8 hours. Maybe I'm wrong,
Okay.
but it felt kind of like that. It's a big country. Well, yours too.
It is.
Yours is bigger. But yes, I think it was about 8 hours. It's usually like
Okay.
5 hours to the coast of Buenos Aires without even leaving the province. So yes. So it's even farther than that to get to
Yeah.
Utah from where you are. Yeah. So your twin brother probably will be posting pictures in the video so everybody can see. Well, it would be
And they're horrible
like
at
another
posting.
you.
We'll have to give them a hard time because we're like, we need more pictures. Post them. Be present.
He doesn't post much.
Not a ton. No,
Um,
no. And I try to cut him some slack. He's in school right now. He's in dental school, which
ah,
what is odontologo? Is that the
very good.
I learned a thing or two.
Already proving how much you know,
Oh, right.
or how much you remember.
I have to throw in a couple things just to discount what later on when it becomes apparent that I'm not like super great at Spanish still.
Do you feel you still remember a lot of the Spanish you
You know,
learned?
I feel like I do a still a fairly good job at communicating and I have conversations still pretty regularly with people. I'm at work or just I run into people in day to day life, and that is encouraging. Where I'm like, okay, I can hold a conversation, I can
Mhm.
get points across, I can help. It definitely helps a ton in work when I'm trying to just help people feel comfortable. Um,
Does that happen often? That yeah,
hmm Yeah,
you
yeah,
run
I would say
into Spanish speaking
honestly,
people.
I use Spanish, especially in here in where I live in Arizona.
Uh-huh.
There's a really big Latino population, and so
Uh-huh.
it just comes up, and it's nice because a lot of the Spanish speakers that I meet here, they have a decent amount of English that they can speak if they aren't from here, and um, even if it's not great English, they still have a
Uh-huh.
basis. And then of course there's so many people that were born here, that have grown up here, that speak both perfectly,
Uh-huh.
and that's super helpful.
Bilinguals. Yeah,
Hmm
that's
And
nice.
and I love having conversations with people that are bilingual here because I'm like, you get what I'm trying to say in English and translate it in a way that I didn't think about, just the way that I would, and however broken that is, they help me. Oh, right,
But
there's a better way to say
but they get you anyways. But that's nice. That's
that. Hmm
good. Yeah, so Hayden, your twin brother, has two kids already. What
hmm
about you?
I have the two, and you've met both of them.
Right?
Emmett is my son, the second, and he's
Uh-huh.
going to turn 2 at the end of March.
Uh-huh.
Oakley is my oldest, my daughter. She will turn 5 also in March. So we're
Those are
just
beautiful names. You sent me a video, I think it was for my birthday.
Just like we practice, okay? Feliz cumpleaños! No? Well, she can't even talk yet, so. Working on it. Hey, happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday!
Daddy has to that kitchen.
Yeah. Feliz cumple, bro.
Feliz
Cumpleaños.
cumpleaños.
There you go. She's getting there. Happy birthday, bro.
oh what
Yeah, with the kids. Yeah.
I
You
what's so
got
funny, Oakley will hear every now and again when she hears us speaking in Spanish, she'll try and chime in, and she who knows the sounds she's making, but it's hilarious because she just is like, yeah, no, I want to speak Spanish.
Oh, that's so nice that she wants to. You got her to say something like, I don't know, feliz cumpleaños, or you got her to
Oh,
say something. It was pretty nice, like pretty clear.
oh, well, good. We're gonna
Yeah,
get. Uh,
yeah. But probably I will include that here too. It was super nice. Well, that's awesome. What about the rest of the family? Is everybody doing
um,
well?
well, and Jamin and his wife, they just had a baby as well.
Their first
Um,
one?
mhm. So
So
they're
many
in the
babies.
whole. There's so many babies. We're kind of just this growing. Well, they had their baby, and then my sister and her wife,
Yeah.
they have twins.
They
They
have
did.
twins?
They did. They went through. It's called IVF. I don't remember what that all stands for, but it's the treatment to be able. They had it like implanted,
Ah,
and
okay.
and so
That's sweet.
because of, and they planned it too. They were wanting to have multiple, so yeah, thankfully everything worked out, and their little boys, their names are Maverick and Merrick, and
Maverick and
Merrick.
nice.
Oh, they're
Both with
they're
M.
uh, they're gonna be a year. Let's see. Oh, now I'm trying to remember everyone's birthdays. There's just too many kids, They're,
Yeah. But so they're babies. They're not a
they're
year.
still babies. Yeah, they're
They're
not a
not a
year
year
yet.
old yet.
So we just have a ton of babies everywhere right now,
My
and
goodness.
that's the fun little season of life we're in. Is just enjoy it. Everyone's,
And
uh,
I
you
don't
know.
know, but I suppose that it's been difficult to get all the family together at the same time, you know, or
Um,
you still manage to do that.
well, yeah, for the holidays too. Everyone except for Hayden, and
Uh-huh.
that's just they were like the baby's still really little to have to be trying to fly down,
Mm,
or to drive
true.
a
True.
long drive.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, we still got everyone together, and it's a lot of fun, especially too just to get to start to see like all the little kids getting to play and interact and realizing like we're starting a whole new generation and yeah, there's a lot of fun to that.
Just not long ago, probably a few weeks ago, somebody posted, probably your mom, maybe, I don't know, but somebody posted a video of, I think it was Jamin singing something.
Oh yeah.
Uh, what was it? It was a hymn, a church
Hmm.
hymn. One that not only one that I recognize, but one that I like. It was like a slower version of it, like beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Was it
A classic hymn from the church. Well, that was a very beautiful rendition.
was it Oh Holy Night or
No, I don't know if I don't think it was Christmas.
oh it wasn't Christmas.
I don't think so. I think it was something else. I probably should look it up again and find it. But what I remember was really, really nice. Well, you all sing like beautifully, you know.
Well, thank.
And
Here's
oh,
I
there
warned you.
she.
Interruption number one. You
Interruption
want to say
number
hi?
one.
Oh, please.
Hello. How
Want
are
to say
you
hi?
doing?
This is my friend Matthias. Want to say hi, or are you going to be shy? Yeah,
Are you tired? You want to go to bed?
it's almost bedtime, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Oh, poor thing.
All right. Well, maybe. Oh, why don't you go check on Emmett and see if he's ready for bed too?
How old is Emmett?
Emmett, he'll be 2 in March.
He will be two
However,
already. Could it be that the last time we talked, that we had the interview, he was going to be born, or he had
he,
just been born?
I think he had just been born. He was still pretty little.
Uh-huh.
I remember, and I can't remember if it was for the interview or a different. I remember talking to you. You had a student with you. We were just on a video call, and I had Emmett with me, and he was little baby. Um, and we chatted for a little bit, and that was fun. But I remember having him with me, and I wish I could remember her name. But
Could it be Graciela?
yes, that sounds yes.
Right. Yes. Now I remember. I remember. Yes. Yes. You participated in a class with her, you know?
Hmm.
Yes. That was really nice. That was really
Uh,
nice. Yeah. Yes. Isn't it interesting when that happens, like my students always remember, you know, and for them it's a big deal. Sometimes, I don't know, years later they say, how is Fulanito doing?
oh,
Like, how do you know that person? Like, we shared a class, remember? Like, we did? No, yeah, but it's a big deal,
yeah.
when that
Well, and I know when I was learning Spanish, and they would give us chances to talk to someone at the very beginning. We'd have a Skype call with someone that was, I talked with a lady that was living in Mexico. And
uh-huh.
at the very beginning, that was really scary, but it was also memorable and cool. Like, oh, I'm actually talking to someone that lives in another country and they speak Spanish and only Spanish. And that was really like a cool learning experience.
Yeah.
Like, that's fun to be on the flip side of it and get to be, I'm glad that it was memorable. And
Well, you
I
see.
just think, yeah, I get it. That's really cool.
Exactly. I think it feels really, really nice, really great when like what you were saying, when you can communicate with someone, knowing that the language you're using, which is a second language for you, you know, is the first language for another person, no? And
Hmm.
so, and it's a real thing. It's not a game. It's not practicing with your teacher or anything. You're actually
Exactly.
talking and communicating with someone, and that feels great, you know? And, in your experiences with, talking to other people in Spanish, and probably to this point, you must, I suppose, you you must have lost the Argentine accent, probably the one that you picked up while you were here, or you still have
Well,
some.
and it's funny because people will still tease me here and throw out there and say, "Hey, Che,"
Really?
um, and it's just something I've chosen because I use it and say I learned in Argentina, and people actually, I mean, they tease me in a friendly way, I should say.
Of
It's
course.
mean
Yeah.
about it, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of a fun, like, yeah, no, viví en Argentina y no hablamos español, hablamos castellano. Uh, and it's just fun, and people ask questions of like, well, tell me about like, how is this different in Argentina? Like, is this a word? And I'm like, no, they're not normal.
Do you still say like sure or you switch to yo and that kind of thing?
When I got home from living in Argentina, I intentionally, I'm going to keep using the sh because a lot of people that I know that lived in Argentina, they don't. They wanted to adapt, and I get it. But I was like, no, I want to keep this. And
Uh-huh.
now I'm at the point I it just happens. I don't think about it, and so I forget that I'm talking like that. And some people will be a little confused, and they're like, "Wait, say that again," or what? That catches them off guard, and,
Uh-huh.
and so that's just kind of a funny little quirk where it's just I'm embracing the inner Argentine.
I think that the most common thing that happened about that, people having lived in Argentina and then going back to the US, I think that eventually they start like neutralizing the accent,
Yeah,
and turning to something more neutral, something more, you know,
definitely.
relatable to, no?
Even without meaning to,
Mhm.
um, when I depending on who I'm talking with, my Spanish will change and kind of it's a kind of a mix of things from wherever a mix of accents kind of, and so
Mhm.
that can be a little funny to listen to.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and I always say the same thing about this. I think that the most important thing is to be able to communicate, like fluently and in a way that is generally understood by most people. I think, and that should be the real goal. Um, I find accents really interesting, you know, but I know that in the end, the most important thing is being clear enough when you talk, If you want to stick to like very regional or local slang or expressions, it is fun, it is interesting, but if in the end, if it doesn't help you communicate. If you say things that are not understood on the other side, you know, what's the point in the end, right?
Sure. I do have a question for you that I notice with there's just people that I interact with that they've learned Spanish as a second language.
Uh-huh.
Well, they're not Latino. They don't put any effort into any accent, and so the words come out. Yo me llamo. What very gringo.
Okay. Okay.
And so I'm always curious. Should they be putting more effort into it, or is
Well,
that just you get to a level of
I always wonder about that. Like, what is it exactly?
yeah.
Because it happens like so many times, like sometimes I hear people, well, Americans, for example, already having a good level of Spanish. They can communicate fluently, but still the accent is like as if they were just learning it.
Mhm.
And again, it makes me wonder what the thing is about it. Like, what causes that? Is it that they don't put any kind of effort? Because I also think that sometimes it's something about, the
There's
skills with your ear, the
yeah.
capacity to recognize sounds and then imitate those sounds. And that's why I always associate these skills to the skills we need or we have or we use with music, you know, with
Oh, that's
instruments and
yeah,
singing,
good.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't think it's a coincidence, and I don't know if you agree with me with this, but I noticed that many people who are good at singing, for example, they also learn a language and they pick up the accent pretty quickly,
Mm.
you know?
No, I definitely agree with that.
Uh-huh.
That there's, yeah,
I
that's,
think
I'd
there's a
never,
connection. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, that it's a type of skill or set of skills that are compatible for both things. You know, the techniques or things you do when you sing, you know, or recognizing a sound and then so that then you can copy the sound, the note or whatever that is.
yeah.
Um, yes, there are some exceptions, but normally when I meet someone, I'm talking to someone, and I see that they are very good with the sounds. I usually say, "Do you like singing?" "Oh yeah, I love singing." To me, it makes sense. Okay, that explains it. And
Yeah.
only in very few occasions they have told me like, "No, not really." And I
Interesting.
also believe that maybe they do like singing, they don't want to say it, but
Yeah. Can't admit to it, but they're giving themselves away. That's so well, and I've thought about it. So my sister-in-law speaks Cantonese, and I was thinking about that the other day, where it's one of those language that's it's a tonal language, so your ups and downs, all the it's kind of like singing. It's very important to be able to speak the language, and so
Uh-huh.
I was wonder if
Honestly, I
that.
don't even know what that sounds like Cantonese.
I wish I
I-
could imitate, but I don't want. Honestly, I don't want to cross too offensive.
Probably that would be fun seeing you imitating the accent.
Oh, good. She and I heard her use it not long ago, and I was like, wow, that is so cool to listen to. But it's very, there's if you say a word, and she explained some things too, where if you say a word like you start up high and drop down low with your pitch, it changes the meaning. And I know that's
Really?
for I mean, I'm not sure how many of the Asian languages have that, but
Uh-huh.
I know it's for more than just Cantonese, but it changes the meaning of the word based on the tone or the pitch or whatever, however
Right.
you put.
Yeah.
So then I was like, man, I wonder if there's people who just it's like the accents. If they can't do it, like, can they just not learn that language? But just kind of an interesting thing on languages in general, where I was like,
It
how
sounds like
important.
complicated to learn it. So you said that she's your sister-in-law. Whose
Uh-huh.
wife is that?
So that's my sister's wife.
Your sister's wife. And
Mhm.
why does she know that language? Is like,
She served mission in Hong Kong.
oh, nice.
Mhm. And so that's been
Wow.
cool. Where she, so I have my youngest brother. He actually just left on a mission um, in November, and he's in
The little
Cal.
one?
The little one, I
He's
know. Can you
serving a
believe?
mission?
I know.
Is he
He
old
grew up.
enough? I still
It's
see his face like a little kid.
I know. Well, now when I messaged you the other day and said, "Wait a minute, like I'm seeing all of your kids, and they're all full-grown adults," but I'm like, but it's still in my head like 10 years ago when they were
Exactly.
not adults. Yeah, it's
We're
crazy.
old. We're
Yeah, it's there.
yeah.
Still young here though.
I don't know why sometimes like watching movies or comedies, something happens and someone says, well, and we're not getting any younger. I don't know why. I find that phrase, that expression so funny. We're not getting any younger.
And,
It's such a reality, you know?
oh, well, and it's just trying to like, I don't want to put it blunt and like, yeah, no, we're not getting younger because we're breaking down and falling apart. We're just
No,
uh,
it's
trying to put it
so
delicately.
where did he go?
So he's in California, uh, and California has a bunch of missions. He's in the San Jose mission.
In San Jose.
Um,
I love it that
I
in
think
California there are so many Latin names.
I know it's I didn't appreciate that until I learned Spanish and was like, most of California has a bunch of Spanish names.
So he's in the
Uh,
San Jose
San Jose, and
mission.
I think it's not far from San Francisco. I think.
Another one.
No, we'll go through it, and it's just like, well, there. Yeah, we'll have to pull up a list of all the names, and it'll just be like,
I
yeah,
love
no,
it
the
when
entire
I hear like Palo Alto, El Indio,
Palo Alto. There's
Sacramento,
uh, Santa
Santa
something,
Ana,
possibly San Bernardino.
San Bernardino.
Yeah, I mean they're all.
Yeah, most of the names are Latins. Yeah. What makes me wonder about that is like, for example, in your case, someone who learned Spanish, then when you see or you say those places again, like, would you have a
Well,
tendency to pronounce them like in Spanish or?
it depends on. It's taken me a while to just accept that there's times when I have to just say it like everyone around me says it, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
gonna whiten it up. Um, because when I'm in a mindset where I'm speaking Spanish, and I feel like maybe does this happen to you? Do you feel like you flip a switch at times where you're like, I'm in this mode where
No,
I'm
yes, absolutely.
so if I'm in a Spanish mode,
Uh-huh.
then all of the names I'm saying, correctly, I'm like, oh yeah, that's San Francisco. I'll
Yeah.
say it with an accent, and then I have to catch myself at times where I'm like, okay, but that people are like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
or
No, but I
or
agree with you.
yeah,
It depends on what language you're speaking. If you're speaking in English, I would say I went to Santa Ana. But sometimes it feels a little uncomfortable. So I want to say I went to Santa Ana, you know? So, especially with certain names where the
mhm,
difference is like bigger, you know, it feels weird. The same with names or brands that are in English when I'm speaking Spanish, well, McDonald's, for example. I know that that can sound like very different. I fui a McDonald's, but I went to McDonald's. It's like I have to be careful because if I say fui a McDonald's,
yeah,
it feels a little uncomfortable and even ridiculous, you know?
yeah, and so that's the flip that I run into is where I'm like, a really common name, like a street name here in my city is Palo Verde,
Palo
but
verde.
Palo Verde, but everyone here would pronounce it Palo Verde, and it's so that's one that catches me where I'm like, I want to say it correctly, but I also don't want to like, who I'm talking to. I'm like, you're not going to even get what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And it might even come across as if you were just trying to show off that you
That
know Spanish. In that case, if you say, we live on, ¿cómo era? Palo Verde. No, what? Yeah. Yes. But so if you're speaking in English to people over there, the right thing to do probably is to say it as everybody says it. Palo Verde.
that's that's my general rule of thumb is when in doubt, I'll just keep it the way that everyone here says it, and
But you feel that you're breaking it, that you are like destroying the language probably like
a
deep
little
down, like
bit. There's
it
still the part that
hurts.
where I'm like, that's not right. But
Yes.
and,
Oh well. With brands happens a lot. Like when we are speaking in Spanish, when we're talking about brands like, the jeans, Levi's, we're not gonna say Levi. We're gonna say Levi's.
Levis.
See, jeans marca Levi's, you know? And there are more. I'm not very good at, remembering brands, but there are many like that. Well, we say Nike. That's a special case. It's something in between. because the brand is Nike. No, we say Nike, but we don't say Nike.
Well, I was curious. I wonder why that is.
I don't
It,
know.
it just it caught on, and that's just how it goes. Nike.
I don't know if to say that in general we say something close to the original, like Seven Up, Sprite. No, we make it sound like in Spanish, como Sprite. Seven Up. Uh,
That's
but it's like close to what it would sound like in English, you know. And there are, for example, I think that in general, Spain, they tend to pronounce things as they are written, like when they say Wi-Fi and we say Wi-Fi,
uh,
in Spanish we say Wi-Fi, tengo Wi-Fi,
but in
but
Spain they're like, no, it's Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, yes. And I don't think they're the only ones. I think there are other places too. Yeah. And I don't think that that is either wrong or right.
Right,
It
sure.
might be, or it might sound funny or strange, or in some cases difficult to recognize, but I don't think it's about right or wrong. It's just what sounds
Yeah.
better, what,
Mm, and it can be your personal norm, it can be societal norm, whatever.
yes. The recording is about to end because it has a limit of 40 minutes.
Uh,
Um, but what would you say as one phrase, as a piece of advice for people learning English or any language, based on your own experience? What would you say to
um,
encourage them?
sure. My biggest advice is, let's see. First thing first, as much as you can, try to just be consistent and incorporate. Even starting small is okay, and just the consistency is the key. Where if you only have a few words, try and use them throughout the day. Like, okay, I know these 5 words. I'm going to find ways to use those 5 words today, and then maybe learn a couple more. There's things like that that are just key. And I wish I had started that earlier on in the process when I was learning Spanish. Um, I feel like I would have gotten even more asking, what's that called? Or how do you say this? And
Yeah.
then also just being okay to kind of along that same line, it's okay to slow it down. You don't have to learn everything at once. And sometimes we get caught up in, oh my gosh, I don't know everything right now, or you hear someone that's further along than you in the process and you're like, I'll never get there. You're overwhelming yourself with the like, I have to know everything. So just slow down. And yeah, starting small is okay.
That's very wise. That's very wise. And I've been saying things like that to my students, and because I strongly believe that is absolutely true.
Yeah. Well,
Totally
and
agree.
one of those that you taught me back in the day of learning Spanish and that I hung on to was you were like, so many people at your stage in this learning the language are trying to speak quickly, not even just like I'm trying to learn everything at once, but I'm trying to say it as fast as I can, or focusing too much on I need to sound like I speak quickly. And it was like, just it's okay if you sound like you're talking at a snail's pace. Focus on
So,
saying it correctly first.
so true, so true. Listen, it's like 30 seconds that we have. So I want to use it to just thank you once again for accepting to have a second interview. You're being very patient with me with this crazy project. So thank you so much. I always have a good time talking to you, and it's great to keep this friendship, through the years. I don't even know how long it's been. It's been a while already, and I really appreciate it.